Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about tabletop gaming and oh my golly gee willikers. Look what got canceled. Yeah, the Tomb Raider tabletop RPG. Remember this one? We covered it. It's been about a year, I think, since we talked about this. But yeah, they were going to do a Tomb Raider tabletop game that looked, well, for lack of a better term, woke as fuck. Can I say that? This was like literally every trope ever, every progressive trope ever, all in one place. And yeah, it was a Tomb Raider game where you're not allowed to raid tombs, because it was oppressive and colonizers and all that jazz. And it got canceled because apparently the developer of this game had some concerns that Crystal Dynamics did not share with them, and there were creative differences, and they parted ways, and it's not going to happen. And I'm waiting for them to blame the tariffs and Trump, but yeah, it's not going to happen. Thank God. This is not Tomb Raider in any way, shape, or form. This was beyond parody, and it looks like it's over. Now, maybe they'll do a proper Tomb Raider tabletop game, or maybe they'll just figure, hey, it's not even worth bothering. I don't know. We're going to talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Hey, you know what is not woke AF? These orcs. These orcs are a-holes. If you go to badorcs.com, we've got some enamel pins. We're going to be shipping those out here in a couple months. You can pre-order them at BackerKit. Again, badorcs.com. Also, you can get more content on news.clownfishtv.com. That's our Substack, news.clownfishtv.com. Exclusive podcast articles and all that jazz over there. All right, so let's talk about this. I forgot about this game, and yeah, I'm very, very glad that it is. It's not going to happen. For those of you who want a refresher, this is from last year. This is from Bounding in the Comics. Tomb Raider Shadows of the Truth. TTRPG guidebook confirms Crystal Dynamics working to apologize for franchise's colonialist origins. I don't think it was Crystal Dynamics. I think it was Evil Hat. Is it Evil Hat Inc.? Evil Hat Productions. Yeah, they do such games as Thirsty Sword Lesbians, and I think they did another one that was like AD&D LGBTQ or something. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's like they do very, very progressive, using air quotes here, progressive games. Like it's 2017. It's always 2017. But they said the game was going to put players in the role of a truth seeker, described in game as contemporaries of Lara Croft who strive to reveal long hidden knowledge and thwart those who would steal and exploit artifacts for their own gains. I mean, it's an interesting concept, but the whole purpose of Tomb Raider is to raid tombs. Raid tombs and steal shit and shoot people. And they're like, no, we have to be diverse, inclusive, and sensitive to cultures who have been plundered by the colonialism. As a truth seeker, players are tasked with exploring various locales and ruins in service of solving any number of ancient mysteries, etc., etc. Unsurprisingly, they have both the premise and the source franchise and the TTRPG itself. Tomb Raider Shadows of Truth requires players to raid various ruins and uncover the various clues and historical truths they contain therein. To this end, in an attempt to avoid their work being labeled problematic, Evil Hat Productions included a disclaimer within the game's guidebook explaining to players that while the Tomb Raider franchise was based on the idea of being an archaeologist explorer, Crystal Dynamics had since moved to distance Lara and her future adventures from the original concept. Well, they had a parting of the ways due to creative differences. I have to wonder if Crystal Dynamics is like, yeah, we kind of want to make money. And Lara Croft raiding tombs, big tits and guns, that makes money. I'm just saying. This is not Tomb Raider. This is not going to make any money. Yeah, here's a bit from the book of the game that has been canceled. Raiding and colonialism. What then is raiding, and how does it mirror colonial practices? Raiding, as depicted in the original Tomb Raider video games and stories, involves going to ancient tombs and historical sites of different civilizations and acquiring artifacts. It operates on the assumption of finders keepers that grants raiders with the means and drive to claim ownership of artifacts, regardless of whether or not they have any historical or cultural claim to the treasure. Later games released in the franchise have started the work of addressing this by having Lara Croft acknowledge her past mistakes and try to understand and show respect for the culture and community she comes into contact with. She's also worked to reform raider culture and raise the awareness of her peers. Lara no longer decorates her mantle with mythic artifacts as a raider. She prioritizes seeking out the truth. Much of this game is inspired by her humanity's struggle with heroism and her tenacity. We believe that all three aspects are an important component in creating a game that celebrates history and culture while acknowledging the respect and work required to live in a world wounded by colonialism. Oh, God. In this game, we seek to continue in that work alongside Crystal Dynamics by creating a sandbox for you to tell stories that address colonialist themes in play and create your own stories of respect and support for the people and cultures your seekers encounter. That doesn't sound like Tomb Raider at all. I mean, this was a laughably bad concept for the franchise. And now apparently they parted ways. Mad Scribe Games here. Mad Scribe Games has it. You don't say. The tabletop role-playing game Tomb Raider Shadows of Truth has been canceled by Evil Hat Productions following creative differences with Crystal Dynamics. Interesting. Yeah, this was a stupid game. Here's the post. Update 620. They announced it last year. Update. Sad news. We're canceling the Tomb Raider RPG project due to creative differences. We couldn't get our vision to gel with the licensors, so we've chosen to part ways. The stellar team designing this game put their hearts into making this an exciting, dynamic RPG of adventure and exploration. We're proud of the work they've done. We plan to retool the project as a standalone game with a fresh, original setting. You haven't seen the last of it. So basically, since it's no longer Tomb Raider, let's not even call it Tomb Raider. I mean, God, it's ridiculous. Now here, this is coming from Games Radar, right? And they tend to lean a little left. And they even said the new Tomb Raider TTRPG lets you beat Lara Croft at her own game, but someone needs to check to see if its characters are okay. Oh my God. So you can see for yourself in the official announcement, but the Hunter class is the most notable. They seem to be the Tomb Raider equivalent of a D&D murder hobo, someone who loves to kill stuff in game without thinking about the consequences, but with more nihilism and staring into the abyss. For example, I'm the predator that stalks my prey without mercy, but the shadow of violence tempts me toward the abyss. The companion is a serial people pleaser with the biggest hero complex I've ever seen. The change class is equally messed up. They're in possession of a soul artifact that seems to have possessed them or is altering their personality. How is any of this related to Tomb Raider? For instance, my new self hungers for more. Will I rise to the soul artifact's power or fall into his manipulations? God. Yeah, this just it doesn't look like Tomb Raider. It feels to me like, kind of like we've seen with a lot of animation and video games and, adaptations and movies, that they were using the Tomb Raider franchise as a vehicle to push their own game. Like they wanted to make this game, but they needed, a high profile title, high profile IP to use as a Trojan horse to get this game to market. And this is it was a huge fail. It was a huge fail. So here's some other posts on it. Disco Barbarian said, how shitty of a company do you have to be to force people to ask to see your content? So apparently they went protected. I'm ashamed I own through their book, says Obi-Wan Kenobi. My defense, I bought them years ago and didn't know better. Nominative determinism rears its ugly head again. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but the company's name literally has evil in it. God. Let's see some of the other responses. Apparently, Fandom Pulse has more on it. Memeslich says, can't imagine what those differences were. I used to endorse Evil Hat, says Chris Schnee. Even writing a book using their Fate game system until they went off the deep end. Yeah, I enjoyed playing Fate. They did Fate, yeah, when it came out. But ever since Trump became president, they went full R-word. Can I say that on YouTube? Their Blades in the Dark game was interesting. Yeah, they used to be pretty solid. Now it's all like super Tumblr adventure activist friends. Just read the article in Polygon about it. Seems like they were going for a struggle session in the game. Yikes, they should change the name to Evil Asshats. Yeah. Was it too gay or not gay enough? Good question. Well, that's it. Maybe Crystal Dynamics finally grew a pair. Yeah, probably. Or Embracer's bringing the hammer down. And yeah, here's Elvic. Or Embracer's bringing the hammer down and whipping Crystal Dynamics into shape. Yeah, look, we're living in a new reality, right? And the new reality is the money is running out. The free money is running out. We got to make shit that sells. And bastardizing legacy IP for that short hit, small hit of internet clout that doesn't work anymore. In fact, it actively chases off customers. I think at this point, every one of these companies is in deep shit financially, and they're all like, you got to make money. You can't damage the brand anymore. I mean, we're seeing it time and time again. We have about 5 or 6 years, 8 years maybe, where all these brands, these legacy brands, were just completely hollowed out. And the damage has been irreparable to some of those brands. Like, I don't think Doctor Who's coming back anytime soon. Star Wars, we'll see. We'll see what happens to Star Wars, right? Star Trek, maybe if they reboot it again, I don't know. Or go back to maybe make a sequel to Next Gen that's actually decent. But yeah, they're like, we got to salvage some of this stuff. And the best way to do that is just give people what they want, right? And you can't have the Tomb Raider name attached to something that's laughably bad. So they can release it themselves, and you can have, the anti-colonialist super fun club adventure power people thing, whatever. What the fuck am I even talking about? I don't even know. The game looks fucking stupid, okay? The game looks fucking stupid. And it's like 2017, the game. And it got canceled because it's dog shit. And Crystal Dynamics knew it was dog shit, and they're getting enough flack for censoring Laura anyway, and the cartoon show didn't do well, and the live action, they doing a live action show again? I think they're done. I don't know. I don't fucking care. Tomb Raider should sell. It should sell well. All you need, tits, guns, tombs to raid, very easy stuff. Very easy to get right. But mostly tits. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.